Business arising from closed. Moved by Counselor Gadry, second by Counselor Charbonneau, be it resolved. The council rises from the closed session of June 24th, 2025 at 6:18 PM with the following report. The council discuss the sale or disposition of municipal property as per subsection 239(2)(c) of the Municipal Act 2001, specifically the following properties: 1175 Highway 11 South, 722 Edward Avenue, 724 Edward Avenue, 726 Edward Avenue, 695 Gleason Avenue, 697 Gleason Avenue, 439 Pearl Street. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a direct junior interest with item 4C from closed.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask for a vote on that. All those in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Be it resolved that council approve the sale of municipally owned land located at 439 Pearl Street, Poltar, to Lazaro Didier Montano Cruz for the purchase price of $1,000. And that the purchaser shall be responsible for all costs associated with the land transfer. And that the purchaser shall sign an acknowledgement of the municipal property and standards and bylaws. And finally, that staff be directed to prepare the necessary bylaw and documents to complete the transaction. All those in favor? Carried. The next resolution was moved by Councillor Charbonneau, second by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that council provide direction regarding the proposed agreement of purchase and sale for the municipally owned lands located at 1175 Highway 11 South, and that council take no further action on the proposed agreement at this time, and direct staff to explore and present alternative proposals. Call for a vote. All those in favor? Carried. The Township of Blackbird, Masson acknowledges the Apatipi and Assinipiq Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. A reminder to all in attendance that council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township website for review. Do we have any further disclosure of pecuniary interest? General nature thereof? Nope. Move on to. It was moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Be it resolved that the minutes of the June 10th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved as printed. All those in favor? Was moved by Councillor Charbonneau, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that council hereby receives the minutes of the following committee meetings as presented. Accessibility Advisory Committee, March 17th, 2025. Accessibility Advisory Committee, April 14th, 2025. Accessibility Advisory Committee, May 20th, 2025. Committee of Adjustment, February 7th, 2024. And Committee of Adjustment, April 16th, 2025. All those in favor? Great. Yep, so moving on to 10A is a verbal update, 429 4th Avenue Park, Town Manager, Mr. Giguere.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In talking with the company that we bought the playground from, and with the engineering structure that is required, the earliest that it will be installed is going to be this August.
Okay.
So they're coming up this way to install 2 other parks, and they've given us a time slot, but August is going to be the earliest that it gets done.
Okay, and I think, as you had mentioned before, that they have to, we can't just get anybody, it has to be an approved installer for the playground for the below grade product, right?
So if we get the drawings and get an engineer to stamp a steel structure for us. We could install it, but once we install it ourselves, there is no way to warranty any of the structures that go with the playground. So if something breaks, it's at our cost.
So it's in our best interest to have the.
And we
certified
could have a
installer.
lead on another contractor that if we got the drawings, he would be able to install it for us. His timeline is also August, so we might as well go with it.
Yep. We appreciate your effort, because I know that was dropped on our lap. From previous management, so Councillor Charbonneau?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is this the park at the old township office?
Yes,
Isn't that on Park?
Park Lane,
Not Fourth Avenue.
Yeah.
yes. Mr. Lee?
That's a clerical error. Apologies.
Got
I'll correct it in the minutes.
another park. Thank you, Mr. Jager. It was moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Nope. Missing that one. But do we need a, for B?
Yeah, we need to receive it,
Oh, we don't have a resolution.
receive that as information.
Nope. Hold on.
They resolve the council acknowledges receipt of report CLP.
Where do you make?
I don't need to move right now.
Yeah. Good. I get a mover. And a seconder for the municipal restructuring annexation follow-up. Councillor. Ready? Councillor McCutcheon and Councillor Gatter. So any questions or comments on that? Report? Nope. Call for vote. All those in favor of receiving it? Carried. Give that? Okay. Back on track. Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Whereas highways 11 and 17 serve as critical transportation corridors for Northern Ontario, supporting the movement of goods, services, and residents. And whereas the safety and reliability of these highways are essential for public safety, economic activity, and access to emergency services. And whereas the Northern Highways 11 and 17 Safety Act 2025, introduced by MPP John Vantoff, proposes several measures to improve highway safety. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Blackbird-Masson formally supports the Northern Highways 11 and 17 Safety Act 2025. And that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to MPP John Vantoff, the Honorable Minister of Transportation, and local MPPs for their information and support. Do we have any questions or comments on that? That Safety Act? All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to reports. Moved by Councillor Gattery, second by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that council acknowledges receipt of DPS 2025 May monthly report as attached for information purposes. Do we have any questions or comments? Councillor Bouchard.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just in the report, do we have anything to follow up on the solar panel getting set up? Is that part of the?
I will refer that to Mr. Jager.
thank you for you, Mr. Mayor, and thanks for the question, Councilor Bouchard. So it is a recreation project. And the update is that our main panel coming into the arena has to be updated before we can turn on the actual solar farm. So we ran one test, our main panel failed. We had electrician come in, tighten up the panel, and it failed a second time. So it's an immediate red flag for no. We are in the process of dealing with Hydro One as we speak to get it disconnected so it can be relocated at the same time and reinstalled and get a quotation. We're probably in the neighborhood of $25,000. And we do have funding where we can take from, so it shouldn't affect the budget.
Again, thank you for your effort for something that was dropped on our lap to,
We're trying, we're gonna, the team here is working hard to try to get these things wrapped up, so
Yep.
we keep pushing. We're gonna get them eventually.
it seems that every time we turn around to do something good that was left for us to deal with, there's always a situation, but staff's dealing with it very, very well, so appreciate it. Counselor Charbonneau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just curious to see if we got a cost on Monahan, that big failure.
The Monahan failure came in at roughly $88,000. Again, because our gravel contract hadn't went out yet. We're gonna observe it in the public works budget and we shouldn't be over budget there as well, so. It's unfortunate that it happened, but it happened before we spent our $450,000 in gravel. And we did have a little bit of gravel left in our yard, so we should still be within budget on our roads come December.
Unfortunate, but it was dealt with quickly and nobody was hurt. It was very minimal effect to traffic, so that was very good. Any other questions on the report? Counselor Allen.
How did the calcium application go? Was everything,
It's
Good.
starting off good, so I don't wanna jinx it too much. We've received 3 trucks so far. We have about 18 trucks total. Monahan, and I'll say most of Val Gagne is done. So the next truck on Friday will be coming more this way. Monahan, because of its use, and Val Gagne, we did apply a little bit more than previous years and covered most of the road. Our issue is going to be with the amount of traffic on those roads. We will not be able to wait another 6 weeks before we grade them. We've been trying to just buff them as we go every couple of days, but there's gonna come a point in time where we're gonna have to grade them properly because of the excess of traffic. We're even seeing 18-wheelers on Monahan right now. And we're trying, we've written letters to the ministry and to the MTO asking for funds because it's because of their construction that we're getting the influx. We haven't gotten a response. We've sent a couple of reminders. So we're gonna have to wait and see if the amount of calcium we have is gonna be enough, or if we're gonna have to try to get another truck or two to reapply in some of those high traffic areas.
Counselor Allen, I'll follow up.
I only asked that because I was down Monahan Road the other day and it was done, which was awesome. It's just there was a lot of washboard on it. And I wasn't sure if that was there previous to it happening or if we grade immediately before the calcium's put down or how that works. But I just noticed that it was very rough considering that it was just calciumed and everything, so.
Yeah, the big rain pours that we've been getting are not helping our road conditions as well. It seems like everything is set for it to be rough. So again, we're doing what we can. It's Monahan to apply calcium through Monahan. Let's say we turn the tap on when we hit the gravel road all the way into Val Gagne. You're looking roughly $22,000. It's a cost to apply it.
Counselor Charbonneau.
I can answer that too. The grader was on there the day before,
Okay.
so that was good. But I just wanted to say like a very big thumbs up to the public works crew because Monahan, usually from here to Val Gagne, you see maybe 3 vehicles. And now you can't drive there without seeing 30.
Mhm.
Like it's unbelievable, but the graders are on there all the time. They're doing everything they can to keep it up.
Yep. And again, a huge shout out to staff as well, because I don't think we've applied calcium on our roads before September for the last 2 or 3 years. We'll be putting on in June. Just unfortunate that the provincial highway is causing a burden of the taxpayers of Blackford, Madison, so. As well as Mr. Jager contacting the people responsible for the highway, we've also been in contact with the OPP to help. Although it's nothing we can do, we're in constant contact with the OPP because we're trying to keep our residents safe, but
They have been patrolling it too.
but we have the midnight community as well that has raised some concerns about wait times as well as the speed at which the transports drive by and a horse that's standing there with a buggy. It scares them and we don't want to have to set our fire department out to do a horse versus transport. I have 2 questions on your report, Mr. Jager. There's one question, it's under the bylaw enforcement. It says, given the high number of complaints, council may wish to prioritize a review and update of the outdated dog bylaw and a creation of a new yard maintenance standards bylaw. So I don't know if that's something if you can discuss further, but if it's something that, if you're recommending it's something we should perhaps discuss tonight and maybe move forward with it. Mr. Jager?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so we have already proactively started working on one, as we're trying to use our complaint tracker to direct us in where to focus. And we believe, by the meeting in July, we're gonna have something to present to council. Just so that we can increase our enforcement in those 2 areas.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything this evening?
Just give me direction that you wanna see it and it will appear.
Councilor Charbonneau?
I don't know if this is the right place to say, but I'd also like to add, I'd like to bring back that AMS thing because I've been talking to the director quite a bit. And right now you can give fines and whatever, and you're not getting nothing, like it'll just go to court and you won't even make it to court, right?
Yeah.
The other way we can actually put it on tax bills or.
So in order for us to bring that back, we would have to have the mover and the seconder, I believe. Go ahead.
Through the mayor, so per your procedural policy, at the next meeting, we'll retable it, but you have to do a motion to bring back a defeated motion. So we'll start the process there and it'll take another couple of meetings before we can have the ask policy on the agenda. But we can start at the next meeting.
Okay, any other questions on that report? No. On the call for a vote, all those in favor? Moved by Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Gadry, be resolved that council acknowledges receipt of CLK 2025-018 May monthly report as attached for information purposes. Questions, comments on that report? No? Call for vote, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Campbell, be resolved that council acknowledges receipt of T 2025-23 May monthly report, treasurer as attached for information purposes. Questions, comments on that report? I'll ask a question to the treasurer, just if I can get an update on, I know you've had some backlogs with the audit. With the auditors. But how's that coming and are we behind, are they behind? And then as well as the reconciliation, how we doing with the reconciliations in-house, I guess?
With mayor, council, I'm actually disappointed how long the audit is taking. I understand that when I came back to the municipality and contacted them, they provided me with things they required. I got them to come in December because usually they do hands-on. And then we'll provide another list of things they need. I was given that and I supplied it to them. One of the issues is, and our other auditor had it as well, it's a portal. So I could just drop everything in the portal and it's just Black River Mathis and stuff. I couldn't get the portal to work. And I didn't want them to wait on my stuff, so I was constantly emailing them every document, and I labeled everything I sent, so they knew. Tab number 4, this was all the documents for that. It took them quite a few months before they even looked at anything. And their explanation is, they had time allotted in certain weeks to deal with us. And if they didn't have the information, they bypassed us. And come March, April was their busy time. I am constantly back and forth about trying to get answers from them. The last message I got was they're hoping. They have gone through a lot of the documentation, then sent me a bunch more of information. I sent that to them right away. They're hoping that maybe within the next 2 weeks, they'll have time to look at that as well.
Yep.
I've also asked them, I would like timelines for 2024. Cause in reality, that should be done by the fall as well. The bank recs are being done externally. They did tell me at the time that they figured they would do it in a week. And it has been probably a couple months now. They are struggling, which I knew they would because we were struggling. I am working with them. I'm providing them as much detail. They are very close. Like, I mean, our bank recs. There was, I'm gonna say, about $17,000 unreconciled. So that's minimal for the year. But we're still trying to peg this.
So we're moving forward then, we're getting it.
Yes.
It's nice to see. Any other questions or comments, treasurer's report? Call for vote, all those in favor? Moved by Councillor Charbonneau, second by Councillor Gadry, be resolved that council acknowledge the receipt of DR 2025-006 May monthly report. Recreation as attached for information purposes. Questions, comments? Councillor Charbonneau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the landfill, I went to the Matheson landfill a couple weeks ago. Looking very good. Very impressive, actually. But I would like to bring back our discussions of the landfills that way. I think the landfills need a lot of attention, and I think the plan that we were starting to talk about would help that situation. And possibly rediscuss the payment stuff and, you know, a system.
I believe Mr. Jager is working on that.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, me and Lisa are both working on that. If, you know, the appetite was to go down to one landfill at a time. Therefore, one of the big flags through the engineering firms that we use told us that, you know, our dozer that they don't recommend even in our application that we use today, they really do not recommend if we're only gonna use one landfill. So our dozer compacts garbage at about 6 PSI, and a garbage compactor does 600 PSI. So we're dealing with a company out of London, Ontario right now, getting pricing on our dozer in exchange of a compactor. So how much money would you give us for our dozer today in exchange for a compactor? There are some renting terms that we could do, rent for up to 6 months and then purchase a compactor. And the money that you rented for goes towards the principle of purchasing a compactor. So we're just working on getting all those numbers finalized, and then we'll bring a report back to council to see if that's the direction they choose to go.
Good with that? Any other comments on recreation report? Councillor Charbonneau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also, reading through the arena, I spoke with some members of the Matheson Hockey Association, and they told me that it was coming back in 2025. So I'm pretty happy to see that we're gonna, you know, fix some heaters and make the arena better and try and get some more kids involved.
Yeah, I know I guess it's the events committee that's working, is it the events committee that's working with the hockey clubs? Or just select members of the events committee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so anyhow, seems to be a lot of positive buzz in the community.
Yeah.
So, nice. All right, and in a week from now, you have a big event coming up,
Very large,
Hmm.
yes, huge.
so I know I have my red Canada Day shirt, so. I'm hoping that you'll have at least 7 volunteers to help through it today. So I'm throwing in my hat. Just saying. Oh, you put your hand up to volunteer?
I am already volunteering because I'm part of the events committee.
Okay, perfect.
But I'd also like to request all of you lovely people to come and either enjoy the day, but also help us with volunteering because we have lots of things going on and more hands make little work.
There you go. The room falls silent.
Hey, I volunteered before.
Call for a vote on the report. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Bouchard. Be resolved that council acknowledges receipt of FC 2025-05 May monthly report as information as attached for information purposes. Questions or comments on the fire department? Councillor McCutcheon.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. There's a few things in here which kind of are bothersome. So I guess we secured the mobile live fire training unit for the firefighters to train in.
Mhm.
And then the fire marshal office have decided to cancel that because of the potential of low number of volunteer firefighters attending. It's like, this is like really important training for our guys. And to show up because we're a small, not to show up because we're a small municipality is kind of a slap in the face kind of deal with this. I don't know if we can reach out to the fire marshal and portray our disappointment in the fact that they're not coming, or
I'll push it off to Mr. Jaguar.
So we have reached out to the fire marshal and expressed our, our dissatisfaction. Part of it was though, like, we couldn't give accurate numbers either, even of how many people we could secure. Myself and the fire chief are gonna work together to try to see what we can do moving forward, because if our numbers are going to be low, just us not getting the training isn't an option. So we've reached out to a couple of other communities that have successfully booked the unit. The other concern that comes with that is if we have 6 out of our 27 volunteers away for a whole evening, if those are 6 members that normally show up, we could leave ourselves pretty strapped. So we're just kind of trying to work out some details on how we could have support maybe from other municipalities, just happen to maybe be in the area if they were to go for the training. Probably won't be able to work out the details for this year, unfortunately, but by next year, we'll try to have something in place so that if our members want to go, we'll figure it out.
Councillor Bouchard.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Is it just because our numbers in Matheson were low? Because I remember when I was on there, they would actually go to different communities, and then so just because Matheson is low, that's the only one they're bypassing?
I don't know if it's the only one. I know they're going to Airport Fall for 3 nights.
Okay.
It's like so you need X amount of numbers for X amount of nights. I think it's 12 members for 3 nights in a row for them to come. They don't really quote me on those numbers, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's why if our numbers are gonna be a little bit lower, we just gotta start thinking of different opportunities on how to still get trained.
Councillor Bouchard.
Yeah, we were doing the training in the Quonset hut over there, like, somebody had designed like a makeshift house and all that. Are we still doing that? Are they still able to do that?
Mhm.
Basically.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so once you get some training.
Councillor McCutcheon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The other one is under the maintenance part. We've been looking at this curb to be removed for a very long time on here. Is it?
Mr. Jaguar.
So I went to Valgagne again today. So the curb has been there since the extension has been put on the hall. So I'm not sure what year that was done. We have Miller Paving coming in that area next week. To finalize that work. I'm gonna have them come over and have a look at the curb and see if it's something that they can add into the work that you've already signed up for.
Councilor McCutcheon?
And one more, the chief reported that they're getting unauthorized radio traffic on their two-way radios, which is setting off the pagers in the morning and making people shut them off. Is that something we go to the government with about our frequency, or?
So that's Spectrum, so I'm just waiting for one contact to get back to me. So it's either somebody has a base radio that they're using for other things, and it's activating our channel, or there's something, right? That it's not like you don't have an open frequency, so for sure something that we can do there. We used to see this in our fall all the time when the paper mill was open, because the fire department and the paper mill had the same radio frequency, so if you didn't know what channel you were on, you could wake up people in the middle of the night for no reason. So we understand it's been a pain, and that firefighters are getting frustrated, getting woken up for nothing, so we're on it. We just it's been a slow process.
Councilor Arnold?
In the other section, there's a couple of things. Still seeing unauthorized vehicles parking in front of fire hydrants. Problem areas include 4th Avenue and the boat launch. And homeowners in town are having campfires during the day outside of burning bylaw time of 6 p.m. So if the fire chief is saying this, I'm assuming that it's something that we need to pass on to the bylaw officer in order to start correcting these actions.
Mr. Jagger?
So we're gonna be bringing a resolution back shortly. Typically, if the fire department sees something that is wrong, they are allowed to correct it in
Okay.
almost every other municipality in Ontario. So we're gonna get a couple people from the fire department and probably one more person on staff of the authority to write bylaw infractions regardless of their nature. And that way there, we can start correcting more when we're just out, right? Instead of half the time if you call and you say there's someone parked in front of a hydrant, by the time you get there.
Yeah.
That person is gone. I'm probably the one in the office that is out of the office the most, because our bylaw enforcement officer does a lot on the building side and planning side as well now. Right, we're using Timmins a lot less. So he's actually in front of a computer a lot more, as of with my public works. I'm out a lot more, so we're going to come up with solutions so that we can have just more people doing enforcement, so that we can start correcting.
Councilor Arnold?
Okay, I just wanted to double check with that because I was under the assumption that the fire chief or whoever had the authority to do those types of things, so that's why I was curious as to why it was listed on here and not dealt with immediately. That's all.
So one instance is he gets sometimes a call on his personal cell phone
Okay.
and he's at work,
Oh, okay.
and then he'll call me. There was one instance this year where he called me, but I was like in the complete other option, like I was at the other 500 kilometers.
Yeah.
Right, so, right, so it's just about getting those things taken care of, so.
I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Moved by Councilor McCutcheon, second by Councilor Campbell. Be it resolved that council acknowledges receipt of 2025-06 Library CEO Monthly Report and the library minutes of May 12th, 2025 as attached for information purposes. Questions, comments on the library report? Councilor Gatter?
I just want to say Mr. Jagger attended the meeting. And it was very nice to see you there to answer some questions and.
I can count on one hand how many times I've been in the library, so it was.
It's good to see the library is being used and it's busy. We gotta
Yes,
keep that
it
up.
is.
Councilor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question about, in the budget, we have prepared something for repairing or replacing the door stuff. Has that been done?
It was a door and a ramp and it hasn't, we're still in the works.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Move on to bylaws. Be it resolved, or moved by Council Gaddery, second by Council Allen, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-44 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Black River, Masson be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 24th day of June 2025. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Campbell, be resolved that bylaw number 2025-43 being a bylaw to authorize submission of an application to the OLIC be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 24th day of June 2025. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor McCutcheon, second by Councillor Allen, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-45 being a bylaw to adopt a municipal budget policy be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 24th day of June. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor McCutcheon, second by Councillor Campbell, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-46 being a bylaw to enter into a lease agreement with 10004677754 Ontario Inc. be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 24th day of June 2025. And that council acknowledges the renovations to leased premises at 421 Fifth Avenue shall be completed by or under the direction of the landlord, and that township shall reimburse the landlord for such work as tenants work under the lease up to the maximum amount approved in the 2025 municipal budget, and that the requirements of the township procurement policy shall be deemed satisfied for the specific arrangement. Questions, comments? Call for vote. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Gaddery, seconded by Councillor Bouchard, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-47 being a bylaw to enter into IT services agreement with Bursell Integrated Technologies Limited be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 24th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Okay. Question and answer period. There's no question last time. I'll open the floor if there's any questions this evening. I'm good. Thank you very much. Moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor McCutcheon. Be resolved that this regular council meeting is hereby adjourned at 7:09 PM. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much to the staff.